print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Ken Kuminski, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from current issues of the Dunkirk Observer on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Mayville Ready for Winterfest Weekend by Gregory Bacon. The centerpiece of the Mayville Winterfest is nearly complete, as the festival runs Friday to Sunday. During the village board meeting Tuesday, Mayor Dick Siper called this year's castle the biggest castle Mayville has ever seen. He said there have been 15 to 20 volunteers gathering each morning constructing the ice castle, along with a number of students from BOCES conservation classes. Opening ceremonies take place Friday at 6 p.m. with a dedication presentation of the Medallion Hunt Prize and lighting of the castle. There will be bonfires, sledding hills, DJs, playing music, and various sporting events, including ice ball, bowling, hockey, and basketball. Next, impact position. Pair receives tenure from Fredonia Board by Brandon Carmen. The latest Board of Education meeting was a monumental night of two Fredonia school employees, as Cassie Farrell and Alexandra Goff were granted tenure. Farrell, a school social worker, was granted tenure effective February 27th. She was hired in response to increasing needs stemming from the pandemic. In the past 4 years at Fredonia, Farrell has made a significant impact on the youngest students in the district. Cassie came on board and delivered 100% on everything that she shared in her interview, but also in the overall mental health of our students and our staff. Superintendent Dr. Brad Zillix said, "In thinking about how we can help families, she has ingrained herself in the culture of both buildings that she has worked in." Amy Piper, Wheelock School Principal, said that it was hard to come up with enough words to express the impact that Farrell has had on the district through her time at Wheelock and Fredonia Elementary. Piper called her a bright light at Wheelock. Witnessing her walk through the halls of Wheelock, Piper spoke to the impact that Farrell has on the students each day. Piper said that students flock to Farrell, even those who have dealt with tremendous trauma, such as house fires, lack of heat, or food insecurity. They know that Cassie is their person. She is safe, she sees them, she supports them, and she allows them to listen and then go in the classroom and learn and be happy and feel like they can actually do that, Piper said. Piper described Farrell as a leader with genuine, authentic ideas, while also remaining realistic in setting goals that are attainable for her peers. Farrell supervises interns, runs a buddy program for older students to interact with younger students as mentors, and runs the Feed More program within the school to address food insecurity. Piper credited Farrell for her ability to recognize food insecurity in students and normalizes the concept of providing help to meet students' needs, both in terms of addressing food insecurity, but also with gifts around the holidays. Piper did not hesitate in defining Farrell as one of the best hires Fredonia has ever had. Farrell attended the meeting with her parents. She gave thanks to the district for all the support she has received from the district over her time at Fredonia. "It has just been a joy to work here. I have so many opportunities to learn and grow," Farrell said. "I highly recommend working at Fredonia to anyone. I'm very happy here." Zillix said to Farrell, Well done, Cassie. Thank you for everything that you've done. We truly appreciate all your efforts. Following Farrell's tenure appointment, the board then granted tenure to Goff, a music teacher. Goff was leading a concert while the board granted her tenure. Zillick spoke to the high bar of the Fredonia Music Department and credited Goff for maintaining the standard that Fredonia has set. I remember when Alex came in to interview, everybody was very impressed, and she, much like Cassie, has delivered on all of that. She has continued the tradition of Fredonia music being really strong, Zillick said. He characterized Goff's instruction as upbeat, welcoming, and friendly. Dr. Margie Wright, Chief Officer for Curriculum and Human Resources, said that she was impressed with Goff's dedication and commitment to the youngest musicians. Wright commended Goff for introducing music to young students and fostering their love for music. Alex is a wonderful, wonderful addition to the music department, she said. The next meeting of the Fredonia Board of Education is Tuesday, February 24th at 6 p.m. in the high school library. Next, Lazzaroni seeks sale of Glasgow road site. Continuing a push to sell village land in order to gain revenue, Fredonia trustee Lee Ann Lazzaroni said it appears nothing legally stands in the way of a sale of property on Glasgow Road. Lazzaroni said at a Board of Trustees workshop this week she has done a lot of investigative work. The last call I had today is with the DEC. They explained to me we have to get an official jurisdictional determination, a certificate they'd give the village on what exactly is considered wetland. She said the purchaser of the property, not the village, would have to do a state environmental quality review. Lazzaroni continued that the state's Parks Department has nothing to do with the property, as it is not a New York state park. No one could tell me where it was listed. It was ever a park, like an official park. I don't know if it was ever officially a park. She added, there may be potentially conversations we want to have with the state Parks Department because they are buying property to make state land. Whether they would want to engage with us about the property, that remains to be seen. Lazzaroni's contact at the DEC said we should probably have more conversations once you do the footwork to determine if there is anything in your deed or your charter that would not allow you to sell the property. I have not found that yet. She cracked, I am sure there is somebody out there who used to be here who is going to call me up and tell me I'm wrong. An effort last year to sell the Glasgow Road property faltered under opposition from Michelle Twitchell, who lost her re-election race. Former village attorney Samuel Dreo has also publicly opposed the sale of the property. There's surely nothing in the deed, said trustee John Esperson. There's nothing in the title search because we have that. Nothing's happened to it since that date. It's not changed hands. Esperson wondered if it might not have to be advertised if the state wanted the land. Mayor Michael Ferguson speculated that a sale to the state might upset the Cassadaga Lake Association, which has shown interest in a purchase. Lazzaroni downplayed that as it would be state land. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I just did some preliminary footwork to find out the answers to questions. Lazzaroni said she wanted to ask Melanie Beardsley of village attorneys Webster Zanyi to handle preliminary work on the sale. Esperson replied, I would almost recommend using a local attorney to do a land sale if it got to that point. Lazzaroni said she wanted to make sure nothing is preventing the village from selling the property. And if there is, how do we jump that obstacle? Next article is Borello pushes for Kendra's law Use to Help Homeless by John Whitaker. The use of Kendra's law is increasing throughout the state, though Senator George Borrello has questions about its lack of use among the homeless population in the state. Borrello, a Republican from Sunset Bay, asked Dr. Anne Marie Sullivan, state mental health commissioner, about the use of Kendra's law during a recent joint legislative budget hearing. Kendra's law is named in honor of Kendra Webdale of Fredonia, New York, who was tragically killed by a man with a long history of schizophrenia in a subway shoving incident in New York City in 1999. She was a friend and schoolmate of Borrello's during their years at Fredonia High School. Last year, Borrello and former state senator Diane Savino secured changes to Kendra's law as part of the 2025-26 state budget that include a provision stating people who cannot provide for themselves, for their medical care, personal safety, food, clothing, and shelter due to mental illness should be able to be cared for under Kendra's law. My concern is this, Borrello said while addressing Sullivan. The current mayor is saying he's not going to do anything about homeless encampments. Those that meet the qualifications of Kendra's law are obviously not being cared for. They're a danger to themselves and others. And this is not just happening in New York City. We have other communities in New York State with homeless encampments, which are in direct violation of this, have become an issue. So my question is, what are you going to do to ensure that Kendra's law is used effectively and that we can actually get these people the help they need? New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani has said the city will only force the homeless off the streets with involuntary commitment under Kendra's law as a last resort, while also ordering police and sanitation workers to stop tearing down homeless encampments. Sullivan responded to Borrello by saying the state has support teams that work with the homeless in the subways and on the streets. Those teams can bring those individuals to an emergency room if they fit the definitions in Kendra's law, but can't be convinced to take advantage of help that is available to them. Shortly after the changes to Kendra's law were announced, there was hope it could make it easier for local officials to help the homeless. While the state helps with street outreach in New York City, much of that work in Jamestown is done by volunteers through the Chautauqua County Homeless Coalition. The Homeless Coalition organizes a variety of different groups from the area, including their very own Chautauqua Opportunities Incorporated. These outreach teams go out and visit encampments or unhoused individuals and groups to inform them of services that are available. Currently, there are about 10 agencies from across the county that are involved in the street outreach initiatives. These organizations include Chautauqua County Mental Hygiene, Chautauqua Opportunities Incorporated, Evergreen Health Services, the Mental Health Association, Recovery Options Made Easy, Safe Point Lighthouse, the Salvation Army, Southern Tier Environments for Living, UCAN City Mission, and the Veterans Affairs of Western New York. Sullivan said that often extending help to the homeless doesn't require the use of Kendra's law, but often you can do the engagement without doing that, Sullivan said. When you need to, we will be continuing to do everything we have done. We have over 4,400 Kendra's law orders each year, and over the past 2 years, those have gone up by 8%. So we are doing more Kendra's law orders than we were before. Borrello asked how outcomes are across the state after the approval of changes to Kendra's law. Sullivan said homelessness has decreased by 60% across the state. Hospitalizations have decreased by 70%, and threats of violence have decreased by 60%. The outcomes for Kendra's law continue to be effective, Sullivan said. And as a reminder, you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Dunkirk Observer on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is now 15 minutes past the hour. Next, Fredonia selected for U.S. Navy's chorus tour stop. Special to the Observer, the United States Navy Band Sea Chanters Chorus will perform a free concert March 13th at 7 p.m. at the Fredonia Opera House, 9 Church Street. All U.S. Navy Band performances are free and open to the public, though some concerts may require ticket reservations. For the most up-to-date ticket information, visit the Navy Band's website at navyband.navy.mil. As part of the 2026 Northeast Tour celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States, the Sea Chanters will present a family-friendly concert designed to connect each community with their Navy. The program features a broad selection of musical works from patriotic selections, traditional sea chanties, and feel-good classics by Stevie Wonder, the Andrews Sisters, a Motown medley, as well as contemporary favorites. The U.S. Navy Band Sea Chanters is the official chorus of America's Navy. The ensemble performs a variety of music ranging from traditional choral music, including sea chanties and patriotic fare, to opera, Broadway, and contemporary music. Touring the nation and performing concerts means connecting with communities and telling the great stories of our sailors working around the globe to keep us safe and free, said Captain Robert Seth Coates, commanding officer of the U.S. Navy Band. The Sea Chanters Chorus is frequently found at the center of high-profile national events. At home in Washington, D.C., the group performs for the President, Vice President, and numerous congressional, military, and foreign dignitaries. One of the U.S. Navy's band primary responsibilities involves touring the country. All of the band's primary performing units embark each year on concert tours throughout specified regions of the country, allowing the band to reach audiences in areas of the country that do not have opportunities to see the Navy's premier musical ensembles on a regular basis. The U.S. Navy Band is the flagship musical organization of the Navy and one of 11 Navy bands located around the world, and is based at the Washington Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. It has been touring the country since 1925. There are 6 performing ensembles in the Navy Band: the Concert Band, Ceremonial Band, Sea Chanters Chorus, Commodore's Jazz Ensemble, Country Current Country Bluegrass Ensemble, and the Cruisers Popular Music Group. Ensembles from the Navy Band tour nationally 12 to 15 weeks each year. Sailors in the Navy Band are full-time professional musicians, and almost all of the sailors in the Navy Band have undergraduate degrees in music, and most have graduate degrees. Next, Archie's Airport Diner ready to open next month. Ellicott. Chautauqua County's Jamestown Airport will soon welcome Archie's Airport Diner, a new full-service breakfast and lunch destination opening in March. Family, food, flight. The 3 things are the inspiration for Archie's Diner, according to owner Matthew Newton. The Newton family has a long history of aviation in Chautauqua County, dating back to the 1920s. Archie Sr. was a Waco, W-A-C-O, plane dealer and had a flight school at Falconer Field. Archie Jr. received his pilot license at Jamestown Airport in 1940, and from there became a pilot for Pan Am, joining the war effort through CNAC. He flew over 100 sorties over the hump, flying DC-3s while encountering some of the most dangerous conditions to fly on the planet. Douglas, Matt's father, joined the Air Force, and instead of flying the planes, he had a more important job, keeping the planes airworthy and the pilots and crews safe. Douglas instilled the value of hard work, adventure, and the value of taking a risk, say Matt. Matt has extensive restaurant experience and a love for food. The menu will be dinner-centric, specializing in hearty breakfasts and home-style lunches, including a large selection of grab-and-go breakfast sandwiches and lunch specialties. I can't believe I get to watch planes and make food. A dream come true, says Matt, who also received his pilot license at the same airport as his grandfather. Archie's will be looking to receive a liquor license by summer and has plans for special dinners and fun fly-in events, all with the absolute best views in the county. This is exactly the type of development we want to see at our county airport, said County Executive Paul M. Wendell, Jr. Archie's Airport Diner not only honors Chautauqua County's aviation heritage, but also brings new energy, jobs, and opportunity to the facility and the surrounding community. The walls of Archie's will showcase historic memorabilia honoring local aviation pioneers who helped shape the skies over Chautauqua County. We're thrilled to welcome Archie's Airport Diner to Chautauqua County Airport, said John McMeyer, Deputy Director of Public Facilities. Matt's energy, vision, and commitment to honoring aviation history while creating a vibrant dining experience are exactly the kind of business development and growth we want to see at the airport. This is a great step forward for our community and for the airport's future. Grand opening details will be announced soon. Following Archie's Airport Diner on Facebook for updates, opening dates, and event announcements. Next, Shakespeare Club hears about Norway Wharf area. A recent meeting of the 2025-26 season of the Fredonia Shakespeare Club was hosted at the home of Joan Larson. President Karen Cockrum welcomed club members to the meeting. After a brief business meeting concluded, a paper by Cockrum on Bergen, Norway, was presented. A summary of the paper follows. Briggen is the old wharf area of Bergen, Norway. It became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979 due to its unique and exceptional testimony to a cultural tradition or civilization. Briggen was originally established as a trading settlement by Norway's King Olav Kree around 1070 CE. It is a beautiful city, surrounded by hills on three sides and easily accessible by water on the fourth. Bergen was the capital city for nearly 2 centuries and is now the second largest city in Norway. In 1360, the economic powerhouse of the time, the Hanseatic League, decided to establish 4 overseas offices, choosing Briggen as one of them. The League dominated the economy of Europe for more than 400 years, and Briggen was invaluable to the League, especially with its fish exports and extensive storage buildings for goods being traded between Iceland, Norway, and mainland Europe. Briggen has been nearly destroyed by fires multiple times, with the worst damage caused during the Great Fire of 1702 and again in 1955. Both times the city was rebuilt on the original foundations and with as much historical accuracy as possible. The buildings are still constructed of wood and display a typical medieval city structure. 62 original buildings are still in use today. Briggen is the only Hanseatic settlement still in use today. During archaeological excavations after the 1955 fire, archaeologists uncovered a huge number of medieval artifacts, including 647 runic inscriptions, which are now housed in the Bergen Museum. This historical testimony is what made Bergen a World Heritage Site. Brigham is now combining the respect and appreciation needed to preserve the history of the area with modernization that allowed continued growth and vibrancy for the current community. The old architecture remains. The charming passageways between buildings are lovely and colorful, and the business model continues to thrive. Nowadays, you will find more artists and craftspeople than fish and cereal markets. Yet this writer imagines the small businesses and friendly merchants would be familiar to the Hanseatic and Norwegian businessmen from centuries ago. Next, Sheriff's Office, Axon, AXON, Partner for Public Safety. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office has announced a new partnership Wednesday with Axon, AXON, to deploy its community request integration with Ring smart camera devices. This partnership allows the Sheriff's Office to invite Ring users to voluntarily share camera footage that may assist law enforcement in investigating crimes and enhancing public safety. Participation in this program is voluntary. Ring camera owners remain in full control of whether, how, and what footage they choose to share. If a request is declined or ignored, the individual remains anonymous, and law enforcement will not be able to see who received or chose not to respond to the request. Here's how it works. According to the department, law enforcement creates a geo-targeted request. When a crime is reported, verified public safety agencies using Ring neighbors and Axon evidence may submit a community request. Each request includes the location and time frame of the incident, a unique investigative reference code, and general details description regarding the nature of the investigation. Community members are notified through the Ring app. The request appears on the neighbor's feed within the Ring app, and Ring users located within the designated area receive a notification. Residents choose whether to participate. Ring camera owners may choose to share relevant video clips if they wish to assist, or they may simply ignore the request. If the request is ignored, anonymity is fully preserved and the agency is not notified. Secure evidence handling. Any footage that is voluntarily shared is uploaded directly into Axon Evidence, where it is securely stored with full chain of custody documentation, metadata, and audit trails, making it suitable for investigative and courtroom use. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office looks forward to utilizing this technology to strengthen community partnerships, enhance transparency, and continue building trust while working together to keep our community safe, a news release stated. Axon is the global leader in public safety technology, relentlessly innovating to protect more lives in more places. Founder-led since 1993, Axon began with a mission to reimagine conflict in law enforcement and has grown into a global company serving everyone who takes on the responsibility of public safety, enterprise security, and national security, from first responders and governments to companies, frontline workers, and communities. Its trusted network connects TASER energy devices, cameras and sensors, including body-worn, fixed and in-car cameras, drones and robotics, digital evidence and records management, real-time operations, immersive training, productivity tools, and AI-driven capabilities and insights. Designed to work seamlessly together, these solutions create a connected picture of safety that helps protect people and places with greater speed, clarity, and accountability. As a reminder, you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Dunkirk Observer on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 1:30 p.m. Scholarship opportunity announced for area students. State Senator George Borrello announced that the New York Conference of Italian American State Legislators is accepting applications for 4 $3,000 scholarships, 2 academic and 2 athletic. Scholarships are available to residents of the 57th Senate District who are current college students or high school seniors entering college. Students can access the application by visiting nyiacsl.org/apply for scholarship form. The application deadline is Monday, March 16th. This scholarship is a great opportunity for high school seniors and college students in the 57th Senate District who have shown a strong commitment to their education, a drive for excellence, and a dedication to their future success, said Senator Borrello. As college costs continue to rise, this support can make a real difference for students and their families. I encourage all eligible students who have worked hard and stood out through their achievements to apply and take advantage of this valuable opportunity. Applicants should have a grade point average of 85 or higher, be active in community service, as well as extracurricular activities, and demonstrate financial need. In addition to these qualifications, students applying for an athletic scholarship must also be involved in an organized sport. Applicants need not be of Italian American heritage to apply. Scholarship recipients will be announced in April, and the winners will be honored at a ceremony in Albany on May 18th when the conference's Italian American Day celebration will take place. The New York Conference of Italian American State Legislators is a bipartisan organization of state assembly and Senate members who actively promote and celebrate the state's Italian American community. SUNY to host Douglas Day event honoring statesmen. SUNY Fredonia will participate in a nationwide program honoring the legacy of 19th century author, orator, and anti-slavery activist Frederick Douglass. Douglas Day on Friday from noon to 3 p.m. is a celebration as well as a collective contribution to the preservation of Black American history, as thousands of people around the country gather to transcribe and create freely available resources for learning about Black history. The campus will participate with an in-person transcription event in Williams Center Room, S204, that follows along with the Douglas Day live stream. The SUNY Fredonia event, which is free and open to the public, is hosted by the Department of English and Reed Library with support from the Ethnic and Gender Studies program, the Carnahan Jackson Fund for the Humanities through the Fredonia College Foundation, the Office of the Provost, and the League of Women Voters of Chautauqua County. Participants are encouraged to bring laptops or devices for the transcription work, but there will also be plenty of laptops available on loan from Reed Library as well as faculty, Reed librarians, and student volunteers to provide assistance. No prior experience with transcription work is necessary for anyone interested in participating in this digitization project, and participants are welcome to stop in and participate at any time during the program. Refreshments will be served, including a special birthday cake in honor of Douglas. More information can be found on the Douglas Day website at Douglas Day. Next article, Sea Lion Drive case back in court today by John Whitaker. The village of Mayville and the owner of a property village officials want to tear down will be in court. Ellen Shepard owner of 199 Sea Lion Drive, is asking State Supreme Court Justice Grace Hanlon for an extension of Hanlon's previous order allowing the village to secure the property, and if repairs aren't made, to demolish the house. Village officials have filed a cross motion to demolish the property. Shepherd filed a motion in early January seeking a 90-day extension to complete contract negotiations with individuals to provide a plan to repair the property at 199 Sea Lion Drive. She said in the filing that inclement weather since November has made travel difficult, while illness in the family also made meeting face-to-face impractical. She also said village inspectors won't allow Shepherd or her husband a permit or access to the house to allow the Shepherds to interview contractors. To that end, the defendant humbly requests the court to garner all resources to satisfy the village requests and that the court direct issue the permit it needs, i.e. within a time frame unconstrained by inclement weather, Shepherd said in her filing. Dan Delcamp, a village code enforcement officer, said in an affidavit filed in late January that his review of the property when it was secured in November showed no plumbing, furnishings, or heating equipment, as well as rot, missing floor joists, and subpar construction. Peter Clark, the attorney representing the village, said in his own affidavit that a building permit was supposed to have been obtained by November 15th, with construction starting 60 days later. He also said the time to appeal Hanlon's October decision has expired. The defendant has failed to obtain the building permits and failed to follow the order, Clark wrote. Based upon the order, I am hereby ordering that the village of Mayville has permission to demolish the building located at 199 Sea Lion Drive and add the cost of the demolition to the tax rolls. In December 2023, the village took Shepherd to the state Supreme Court. At that time, they noted there were 16 violations of the state Property Maintenance Code and another 5 violations of the state Fire Code. Violations included unsafe structures, sanitation, weeds, rodent harborage, exterior and interior structures, foundation walls, doors, and more. In June 2024, the state Supreme Court issued a ruling that permitted the village to go and secure the property. A few days after Hanlon's ruling, Shepherd filed a motion for reconsideration. Shepherd, who was representing herself in court, said in the motion she answered the complaint within 30 days as requested, but had not received an order from the court confirming the court she missed. Shepherd ended up being successful, and a trial was scheduled. She had the plywood removed, but did not have any work done on the structure. In October, a non-jury trial took place where State Supreme Court Justice Grace Hanlon ruled in favor of the village of Mayville. She gave Shepherd 30 days from October 15th to apply for a building permit from the village of Mayville and 60 days to begin construction. The judge gave 120 days to complete construction and bring the property into compliance with local state codes. Now from the obituary page, just a few death notices. Frederick L. George, 1930 to 2026. Frederick L. George, 95, of Chamar Drive, Silver Creek, died Friday, February 6, 2026 at Chautauqua Nursing and Rehab, Dunkirk, following a short illness. He was born in Silver Creek on October 10, 1930, the son of the late Lawrence and Margaret Meller George. Frederick was a graduate of Silver Creek Central School, class of 1949, and served in the Army. He was the owner of the former Fred's Texaco in Irving, and at one time worked for the village of Silver Creek as a mechanic. Frederick was a member of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Roman Catholic Church in Silver Creek. Next, Nicole A. Fox, 1985 to 2026. Nicole Ann Steves Fox, 40, unexpectedly passed away on February 4th, 2026. Nicole was born October 1st, 1985, to Martin and Cindy Danner and the late Heather Steves. She is survived by her husband, Lawrence Fox, her grandmother, Janice, Zach Zittler, her siblings, Renee, Timothy, Stokes, Andre, Erica Fox, Aaron, Erica Hendrickson, Sabrina Schuyler Coulter, Brittany Matthew Norris. Next, Mary A. Porpiglia, June 8th, 1934 to February 8th, 2026. Mary Ann Katzor Porpiglia, 91, of Dunkirk, passed away peacefully Sunday evening, February 8th, 2026, at Columbin's on-the-Lake retirement home with her loving family by her side. Born in Dunkirk on June 8th, 1934, she was the wife of the late Charles Chuck Porpiglia and daughter of the late Joseph and Mary Makut Katzor. A lifelong resident of Dunkirk, Mary Ann graduated from Dunkirk High School in 1952. A devoted homemaker for many years, Mary Ann's nurturing spirit was evident in all aspects of her life. Alongside her role in the home, she contributed her talents to various workplaces, including the A&P Market, Kraft Foods, and CISA's commissary in her younger years. Mary Ann was known for her generous heart and welcoming nature. She had a remarkable gift for bringing people together, often feeding anyone who stopped by her home. She made sure no one ever left hungry. A devoted parishioner of Holy Trinity Roman Catholic Church, Mary Ann demonstrated her commitment to her faith through her service as treasurer for the St. Vincent de Paul Society at Holy Trinity for many years, where she helped those in need. Next, Teresa B. Mangus, 1927 to 2026. Teresa B. Babe Serator Mangus, 99, of Fredonia, went home Thursday, February 8th, 2026, at her residence, surrounded by her loving family. She was born February 3rd, 1927, to Bruno and Rose Triaga Serator. She was raised in Dunkirk and attended Dunkirk schools, while Teresa worked as an EKG technician at Brooks Memorial Hospital. Her main vocation in life was being a homemaker and the matriarch to a large and loving family, as she had 4 children, 9 grandchildren, 14 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. To her family, she was known as the Toys Under the Desk Grandma. She is predeceased by her husband, Chuck, Babe Mangus. The family referred to the couple as Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, as they enjoyed dancing, especially the jitterbug. She loved her pets. Teresa enjoyed sitting in her garage on Summer Street and watching animals in her yard, especially neighborhood cats. She enjoyed bowling and game shows on television, especially The Price is Right. She was known for her homemade chicken soup and beating everyone at Yahtzee. As a reminder, you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Dunkirk Observer on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is now 44 minutes past the hour. The next article, City Eyes Route 5 and Other Projects, by M.J. Stafford. Spring seems a long way off lately on the frigid streets of Dunkirk. However, plans are underway for road work across the city once the weather improves. The most significant project is a repaving of Lake Shore Drive for its entire length in the city by the New York State Department of Transportation. The street carries Route 5, a state-administered road. The Common Council approved a resolution last week allowing the state DOT to adjust city-owned manhole covers and valve boxes while doing the Route 5 project. Such adjustments will be at the state DOT's expense. Randy Woodbury, Dunkirk Department of Public Works Director, confirmed to the council that the paving will be from city line to city line. Councilwoman Natalie Lukoviak had asked him to talk about the project. He stated all the intersections that require better ADA compliant ramps into the crosswalk areas will be reconstructed with concrete, all up to current code and at no expense to the city. The state DOT's Projects in Your Neighborhood website doesn't explicitly state that a paving project is coming to Route 5. Instead, it mentions an upcoming project to address signal loop replacements in Dunkirk and 3 more Western New York municipalities. Construction is slated to begin in the spring, but completion for the work in all 4 municipalities is not expected until 2027. Woodbury discussed plans for other streets projects across the city during a subsequent Common Council Finance Committee meeting. He asked council members to tell him the streets in their wards that need the most work. But there are already 2 on his radar screen. One is Swan Street between 5th and 7th Streets. Woodbury said that is top of the list to mill and fill, but DPW has held off because the Dunkirk City School District wants to reconfigure bus drop-off patterns at the intermediate school. Woodbury is also eyeing the 300 block of Washington Avenue. The traffic signal there is defective, but the only cost-effective way to replace it is to do so as part of a mill and fill street project, he said. Although nothing is planned yet, Woodbury said he would also like to see some repaving on Route 60. Mayor Kate Voiviash said she would speak with New York Governor Kathy Hochul to see if funding for Route 60 work can be added to the state budget. Next, a new identity. Board tables the renaming of Dunkirk High. The Dunkirk Board of Education has tabled a resolution renaming Dunkirk Senior High School to Dunkirk Middle High School beginning with the 2026-27 school year. Board members warily recalled an effort 4 years ago to rename city schools. A survey with 2 possible names for the secondary school was approved, but the effort was quietly dropped amid considerable community negativity over the issue. The high school name change was the first part of a plan to rename all city schools. Michael Mansfield, then the superintendent, said in 2022, the school board expressed a desire to honor some of the people prominent in the district. However, he continued, the district didn't necessarily have to honor them with building names. Rooms and playgrounds could be renamed instead. The school's large group instruction room was subsequently renamed for Roosevelt Haynes. No more name changes were added. The Dunkirk Board of Education held its February meeting at P-TECH as part of its mission to meet at every district school. P-TECH Principal Jeffrey Teluk gave a short presentation about the school. The school focuses on computer-aided design, welding, and machining. If you think robotics, we got it. Teluk said, there are 32 students currently at the school, which is intended to get people ready for advanced manufacturing careers. Much of the instruction is project-based. Teluk called it 80% hands-on. P-TECH partners with Jamestown Community College to offer 4 degree pathways where P-TECH credits count toward the degrees. In other business, at its February meeting, the Dunkirk Board of Education approved resolutions of respect for recently deceased former employees. Stephen Serbacki, a science teacher for 27 years, Terry Wolfenden Clifton, a teacher, middle school principal, and superintendent of schools in his 38-year district career. Cornelia Helwig, an office clerk for 15 years, and George Catalano, a 19-year social studies teacher, were honored. Accepted the retirements of 4 teachers effective June 30th. The retirees are Laura Debicki, secondary school art teacher Julie Freeling, an intermediate school teacher, secondary school special education teacher Mary Allaire Gifford, and Jody Korzensky, a secondary school art teacher. Next, Pine Valley educator selected for Master Teacher Program by Sarah Holthouse, South Dayton. It takes a lot of work for a teacher to be selected for induction into the highly competitive New York State Master Teacher Program, and this year Pine Valley Central School District is seeing one of their own joining the ranks. The New York State Master Teacher Program recognizes exceptional STEM educators across the state, with only 21 teachers being selected from Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Niagara, and Erie counties this year. The New York State Master Teacher Program is a distinguished 4-year professional fellowship designed to support outstanding STEM teachers while strengthening instructional leadership, collaboration, and innovation. Master teachers commit to remaining highly effective in the classroom while participating in cohort meetings, teacher-led professional learning groups, and extensive professional development beyond district requirements. Pine Valley's technology and engineering education teacher, Matthew Von Konet, is among the group of teachers selected for induction this year. Von Konet began his career at Pine Valley on September 2, 2020, earning his tenure through his hard work and dedication in the fall of 2024. But teaching was not always something Van Konet wanted to do. I went the non-traditional route, Van Konet said. I was in manufacturing for 7 years before this, and the thing I enjoyed most about manufacturing was able to pass on my knowledge to coworkers. So I decided to go into the realm of teaching. Within his realm of teaching STEM classes, Van Konet said teaching in this area is something that is important for students, as it is the future of the world. It is also something, he said, is not going to go away anytime soon. STEM education takes place in tangible settings, Van Konet said. It's not going to be replaced by AI. If anything, it will be enhanced by AI, but we need to know how to critically think, how to use our resources, and be able to come up with our conclusions based off of the information that we get. Outside of the classroom and the school, Van Konet is also a member of the Eden Fire Department and enjoys spending time with his wife and dog and working on their house. At school, he coaches modified basketball, assists in the musical program with set designs as needed, and is the founder and leader of the Power Sports Club. In the Power Sports Club, members have rebuilt a 4-wheeler and a jet ski, with a motorcycle and another jet ski on tap to be restored. Van Konet is also part of the school's shared decision-making team, and recently was asked to help the school prepare for the portrait of a graduate. The selection process for the Master Teacher Program is rigorous, involving an extensive written application followed by a 2-part interview. Van Konet first learned about the program through his active involvement in professional organizations dedicated to technology and engineering education. These include the Western New York Technology Educators Association, which meets several times throughout the year, and the New York State Technology and Engineering Educators Association, where he currently serves as president. He has also participated in professional conferences hosted by the SUNY Oswego, which emphasize collaboration, leadership, and innovation in STEM education. And here's a commentary from the opinion page. Chautauqua Gorge, a winter treat. Chautauqua Gorge State Forest. It's one thing to see the Chautauqua Gorge in the summertime. It's another thing entirely to see it in the wintertime. If you haven't seen it in the wintertime, you might consider putting it on your list. It's spectacular, just spectacular. High walls along the deeper parts of the gorge surround snow-covered pines and hardwoods. In the middle of a sunny afternoon, the blue sky is overhead. Later, as the sun sets, the sky turns dark blue and the brightest stars begin to fill the sky. More stars join them as the sky turns dark blue, then black. All the while, all you hear is the silence. The silence itself is beautiful. Admission to the state forest is free. According to the Chautauqua County Visitors Bureau website, the 538-acre Chautauqua Gorge State Forest is part of the Chautauqua Gorge watershed area, and part of the reason for the property is watershed protection. Please recall, now the Chautauqua River is the outlet of Chautauqua Lake. Water flows from Chautauqua Lake to the Chautauqua River, to the Allegheny River, to the Ohio River, to the Mississippi Gulf, and into the Gulf. And many have never given a thought to anything else. But 10,000 years ago, Chautauqua Lake, rather than flowing from northwest to southeast, flowed the other way. Then water flowed from Chautauqua Lake through what is now the gorge to Lake Erie, to the Niagara River, to Lake Ontario, to the St. Lawrence River, and into the Atlantic Ocean. Across the town of Chautauqua from the gorge is the village of Mayville, home of the annual Mayville Winterfest, which runs February 13th to 15th. The centerpiece of the Winterfest is the ice castle, built for each Winterfest, weather permitting. And has the weather permitted it this year. So permitting has the weather been that the ice blocks that ice castle builders have cut out of the lake are noticeably thicker than in most recent years. Builders harvest the ice blocks a short distance from shore. They cut their customary channel through the near shore ice to get the ice blocks to shore. Their work calls to mind ice harvesting that was common in years before electric refrigeration. Ice blocks were harvested during winter months, stored in ice houses, and delivered to homes throughout the year. Residents used ice blocks to keep food cold in their ice boxes. When their ice melted, they got new ice. Just as they gathered more wood when their wood piles diminished, or ordered more coal when their coal bin was empty. Now when we want our homes warmer or cooler, most of us just adjust the thermostat. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from current issues of the Dunkirk Observer. We read from the Dunkirk Observer every Saturday at noon. Your reader has been Ken Kuminski. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of our Northtown Bee papers, which includes Amherst, Clarence, Cheektowaga, Depew, and Lancaster. At 2 o'clock, we have our Southtown papers, which is the Orchard Park Bee, East Aurora Bee, West Seneca Bee, and Hamburg Sun. Following that, at 3 o'clock is the Ampole Eagle. Stay with us. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which